Is going on, everybody? I am back with another Mortal Kombat tutorial today, and I figured what better time to work on your low tier characters than during quarantine when you have nothing else to do for 18 hours of the day. I've personally been working on my Shao Kahn a lot, so I'd be expecting a tutorial for him from me very soon. Raiden, I've been playing for a while, and Thunder Wave tends to be his generally most popular variation. Some would consider it to be the easy combo variation, one of which almost every character has. You do a couple of strings, you confirm into an amplified launcher, you do a couple more strings, it's big scary damage. For Raiden, it doesn't necessarily work that way, though it does, it's not that easy. He's got a couple of qualms. He's considered very low tier from the beginning of the game for a reason outside of that 1 week that he had an infinite for some reason. So we're going to cover his tools, their application, what you are trying to do and not do, when you are safe and not safe, because this variation is all about hit confirming and whiff punishing. And messing up any of those will leave you super open to your opponent and will make the variation harder to play. So being aware of when you should continue your offense and when you should stop is very important as far as what they even do. So I've got my list here. We're going to cover the strings very quickly because there's not a lot to them as far as knowing when to and when to not stop. And their ranges. Raiden's got incredible range on a lot of these tools. This staff goes very far. This back 1 goes very far. This back 3 goes very far. Doesn't mean you want to do all of them all the time. So we're going to focus on, again, figuring out the tools, learning when they're applicable, how to optimize them, and then take this information, go online, and try to win some sets with Raiden, or come play me on stream most nights at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as it stands right now. The link, of course, as always, is in the description down below. So let's go ahead and get started. Your 1-2-1 string. Very solid, 7-frame startup. So it's a good punish string. Problem, I don't know if some of you are seeing this already, it's a high. Meaning that in some situations you'll want to punish with this and it won't work. Trying to punish another Raiden's Superman at the wrong time with this will whiff. I've been doing Raiden mirrors with one of my friends on stream lately, and it's a problem. Katana's back forward 3, I believe. Her butt slam. Try to punish it at the wrong time, it won't work, it won't reach. Outside of that, when it does work, it's very fast, and landing it for counter hit does actually lead to crushing blow, which I'm going to demonstrate here by turning easy crushing blows on, which was already on. And you'll see there, big beefy boy damage. Okay, that's almost 30% if you do land it, and you'll land it quite often. You'll just have to get used to when you can and cannot land it. But the fact that it is 7 frames means it will interrupt a lot of stuff. Your back 1-2, 1+3. On back 1, you were safe. The best thing about the move is the range. Very deceptive range. Constantly a threat if Raiden's shimmying in and out of range here, which doesn't always mean he's safe, but it's a shimmy range for this move. You can step in with that. You're really threatening your back 3 or something like your forward 1 and using that fear to step in close enough to land this, right? If you do land it, it's 11 frames of startup, so it's not the fastest, but it's not the slowest move he has. Hit confirmable off of the 1, off of the 1-2. There is an extension at the end that is 1+3, which does pretty well for corner carry, even though Superman on its own will do well for corner carry, but we'll get to that later. You can also, a lot of people don't know, I feel like, for some reason, you can either execute back 1-2, 1+3, or you can do back 1-2 and L1. Both of those will work if that makes the execution for you any easier. But it's a decent string. It's mostly your hit confirm string you're going to be going for, just because it's pretty fast. Your back 3, great, but you see it's 5 frames slower. It's a lot easier to interrupt than this is. Your back 1-4. Opponents tend to crouch block it. Here is an overhead. Okay, pretty strong. I believe, I'm not 100% sure, I'm pretty confident that this could be a flawless blocked. Doesn't necessarily mean it's easy. Let's see what the block stun is on that. -7, yeah. So there's a gap in there. You're going to want to be cautious about that. But it's not a move that's going to get flawless blocked a lot, at least not from my experience. Most people are just going to stand up because you are -14 if you go for that. So most people aren't going to bother flawless blocking you. If this gets blocked, you'd rather hope that they try to flawless block and maybe get hit rather than they just stand up. Your forward 1-1-2. Great because of the range. I wouldn't get too reliant on using this as an anti-air. Your standing 1 works pretty well as an anti-air. Kind of like amazingly so. Out of all of Raiden's normal moves, this is actually very good as an anti-air, just not always as a punish. But its forward 1 sometimes will anti-air. You'll see here, Nice stabbing in the face. Keep in mind, again, Xiao's a big boy. I picked him to make combos easier for later in the tutorial. The second hit is a low. Third hit is a mid. That seems like it would have flawless block gaps in it, but it doesn't really. I've labbed it. I can't seem to find one. Your 2-1. Decent string. Reason it's really good is this pressures your opponent and pushes them. Look how much this is pushing on block. That's really the strongest thing about this. If you really need to get them in the corner and you cannot open them up, they can eat this, and that's a pretty decent shove. We're all the way here, but I'm going to step him right in front of the lantern if I could jump over this thick boy and push him, and now he's by the tree. This is how far the move shoved him on block, okay? Even farther on hit. So it's great for that. 2-4-3. Really good because of the sneaky low. Again, the problem with the high in the beginning, but look at how high this is and how high this is. Which one do you think you're going to have an easier time hitting? Okay. This one is, of course, a little slower, but it's a little more consistent. And this works great for stuff in the corner because you can actually get pretty decent launches in the corner. You've got your 3-2-1, which is the worst string you have. Almost never do this. Every single part of that string is flawless blockable. There's gaps within the entire thing. The only benefit is your plus off of 3. You're a little minus, but you're still safe if you stop. And you're plus at the end there, along with creating some space. If your goal is just to push them, cool. If someone is scared of this, here's the big problem, though, is that this is a high also. So if your opponent is ducking, you're eating a down 2. If you're lucky, you're eating a down 2. If you're lucky, you're eating a grab. You better hope they don't stand up and do a full combo punish, because this is whiffing. You're going to get hit before that comes out. There's 14 frames on that second move. And even if they do block both, of course, they can flawless block the last one. So you're taking a big risk. You're really hoping that your opponent just feels like eating the whole thing. Back 3-1, 2+4. Okay? Great string. I would recommend never finishing the 2+4 at the end there. There's really no reason to go for it. It's always better to go for this. This is just your low starter to open your... You're coming in, you're threatening, oh, I have a really strong overhead tool that I want to hit you with, but instead I'm going to shimmy. That's what you're trying to do. If you go for this, you are so punishable. If they block you, it won't even come out. So, this 2+4 part, just pretend it's not even in there. There's really no reason to go for it. Then you have your 4-3-2, and your forward 3 is your big stagger tool. It's the best one you have. It's plus, and it has, well, not plus, it's minus, but it has a continuation that's so fast it has to be respected, and that'll lead you into grabs, that'll lead you into staggers, that'll give you some shimmy opportunities and other variations. It'll lead into other tools. Here, pretty fast, strong startup, only -6. Though it is -6 and you would lose your turn, that's if you are staggering. Ideally, you always have the threat of this, which is equally minus, and you're safe throughout the whole thing. So what do? You can do it. Go for a throw, you can do it, continue, you can do it again. Again, it's a stagger move. We're all familiar with how stagger moves work. Out of his base normals, the best ones he has is his back 2. Back 2, of course, has a crushing blow condition. If it hits twice, you get a crushing blow off of it. It's a very strong crushing blow, and the threat of it a lot of times will open people up to back 3. If you would like to see the crushing blow, I'll display. This is what it looks like. And the problem is this can lead into a lot of damage, especially when you have a Raiden that knows the combo. Oh yeah, let's try it one more time. Let's see. Just do something simple. Something simple like that. 45. Okay? That's not even the most you can get out of it. God forbid you have your fatal blow. Elder, God forbid. Nailed that one. That threat is so strong that when you come up and you're threatening, people are either going to try to interrupt you because they don't want to get hit, because it is 19 frame startup, you can get hit out. They will neutral duck, hoping that you're going for a grab and you're baiting. You might be coming in with back 3. This one move, the threat of hitting that once, gives you a lot of extra breathing room, because all the pressure's on your opponent now to not get hit with it again. And sometimes they're so convinced that you're never going to go for it twice because no one ever gets it, because you're just baiting for this, or you're just hitting it and then coming in and then baiting for this, that sometimes they're just open to it. Sometimes they just willingly accept it. And if they do accept it, Big damage, okay? Big boy damage. It's one of the best crushing blows you can hit outside of a down 2. For your special moves, you of course have the Superman, the best corner carry move in the game. Also, one of the most punishable moves in the game. See here, if he blocks it, I'm minus 27. That's really bad. What you can do is you can cancel it by holding down down. So you can introduce the threat of I'm going to go for it. Get in, do stuff like that, so it gives you another stagger tool. Of course, if you do go for that, you are punishable. Somebody like Shao Kahn can forward 2 if they call you're going to go for the cancel, but a lot of times people will just hesitate because they don't know. And if they get used to interrupting you, you can let it rip. You can, at times, jump over projectiles, come in with it. You can just throw out random ones, but you are taking a big risk with both of those plays. The projectile one, a little less, especially because this move also has a crushing blow condition. If it hits from full range, if you get it right at the tip of it and you amplify, you can get crushing. Also, the move is amplifiable for a little more damage. So, something as simple as this will lead into pretty decent damage. 22 isn't the worst in the game for something that short. Ideally, of course, you're always going to go for your combo extender, which is your down back 2. So the next special move we're going to talk about. This is the big threat of Thunder Wave, is getting hit with this thing here. Now, is it the biggest threat? Not really, but what it tends to do is pressure your opponent to spend breakaway to not eat the combo damage, which means that they don't have defensive meter, or at least not 2 full bars of it, and you hit that, they have to accept the full damage you can go for. And in some situations, you can make that very, very scary. You have your teleport, the only variation where you have it. So it's a great tool. This helps you deal with zoners, gets you in on people. Just doing a teleport and a back throw sometimes is good enough to throw people off. You have your back forward 1, your back forward 1. Very strong. It can be amplified. Of course, like most projectiles, it's a high. Amplify is a mid. It's also slow on startup, but from full screen, it's pretty free. Your other zoning tool is your down forward 2, which again, pretty strong in the startup game, but will hit people out of the sky, so there's the benefit of that too. And of course, is also amplifiable. If you do so, it'll hit twice. And brings them in range depending on where you hit it, to continue having to deal with your stuff. Oh, what am I going to do? Oh, I went for that one, you fell for it. Oh no, big boy, here's damage. Okay? Now, here's the big problem with Raiden. As is with Shao Kahn, the reason I like to use both of them as an example. There are some inconsistencies to his game plan. We mentioned before the problem with the 1 and the 3, and how those won't work out too well for you. Your combos will also get affected whether or not you're facing a female or not. Thunder Wave is working really great on Raiden right now. On Shao Kahn right now because he's so big. It's hard to really drop it. A female will end up lower to the floor, which means conversions will be harder. Stuff like this is still possible, but can be more difficult. So sometimes you're going to want to go for a little less damage just to make sure that you get the combos in until you're more comfortable performing his combos, knowing that you're going to get the full damage. For example, right, against the big body, one of the most optimal things you can do is this combo here, right, off of any of your confirms. It's not the easiest one to hit. It's very specific, and there's like 3 different parts. If you're not familiar with Raiden, it's do any starter into Thunder Wave, do jumping 2, forward 2, 1, 2, and then Superman. You'll see I tried to do it just there, I dropped it. It's hard to do consistently. You have to play Raiden a lot to be able to perform it very consistently. There are easier versions. You can, for example, do Thunder Wave, do jumping 2, do jumping 3 into Superman. That's still pretty fair damage. If you get it off of jumping, it's about 30, which is really what you want in the least off of bread and butter. Now, of course, if you did the harder version, the more optimized version, you get more damage, but still, it's an option. It's something you can go to if you're concerned. If you're facing a female, this jumping 2, jumping 3 Superman version will always work. I've tested it. I've done it on Scarlet's. I've done it on Jackie's. It's consistent. That one will work for you. You have a big stagger game. So you're all about hit confirming and whiff punishing in this variation. You need to pressure your opponent that this is annoying. And it's hard playing Raiden because you have to play very reserved. What you can't do is just stay on top of your opponent the whole time. You're not a giant pressure character. And playing like a pressure character against a pressure character who's a lot better at it, trying to do it to a Jax, for example, you're going to get forward 3 out of everything you go for because you very methodically need to pick when you're doing a move. Jax just has to guess. He doesn't even have to think too much. He just has to press forward 3, and there's a big chance that 9 of the moves you go for, it'll beat out. So this is all about maintaining range. conditioning your opponent to get frustrated, overextend. Very similar to Shing's kind of playstyle. You're working the mid-range with Raiden here, because you have tools that help you get in on characters who get impatient and press buttons when you're too far. This move, let's say from starting, won't move you fully towards Xiao, but it will move you just far enough to punish him if he tries to press a button on you. Let's record him. Trying to go for his forward 2, okay? See how it moves me in just enough to punish him? So the back 3, sorry. Back 3 moves me in to punish him. So you're just moving in far enough to get confirms. This is your big goal the whole time. That's all you want to do, is get them to overextend with something and then hit them on the way in. With any of the tools you have. Even this, you can confirm if you want. Easier version of the combo. That's your whole job, is just to frustrate them. Your back 1 is great for that. You can stagger back 1s because most likely it's always going to get followed by back 1-2. And back 1-2 is very strong. Of course, you're punishable if that gets blocked, but the fear of the 2 following up makes this a strong stagger tool. It means, got him. Back 3 also becomes a stagger tool because people are always concerned about the follow-up. So most of your starting buttons are great staggers. Most specifically your back 1, your back 2, not your forward 1. Your forward 1 sucks, okay? Your forward 1 is great for that whiff punishing, but see how that looks like it should hit and doesn't hit? That's some of the problems that Raiden will have. So you want to know what tools to rely on. This works great because it's a fast enough mid, and this is a pretty far-reaching low, which also gives you mix-ups. Of course, we mentioned off the back 2 before. That's your whole goal, is just to threaten that the entire time. Do nothing else. Stagger, throw. Stagger, throw. Don't stagger. Hit confirm, okay? Let's talk about hit confirming. I'm going to do back 1-2. Pretty long move. Right? Watch how long I have to notice it's hitting, if this is hitting. Right? If you look at my execution, I'm putting in down back 2 pretty late. I, of course, know right now that I'm going to hit it. But I'm just trying to show you how long you can delay that down back 2. Back 1-3, same thing. You have a lot of time to notice that lifted off the floor to confirm. Ideally, weird execution stuff like that, it's going to be annoying, especially if you're not familiar with Raiden's execution. But you want to practice it, especially if you're one of those guys who wants to main Raiden. It's very important that you can, in fact, confirm things like that. Excuse me, especially under pressure. That's going to be the hardest part, is when the game relies on you confirming something like this, not dropping it. I didn't even know the Superman was going to whiff there. All of your tools are great for corner carry. Your 2-1 actually can be comboed off of with this move here, right? You can even amplify it. And look, if you do your 2-1 into down forward 2, you kind of bring them back into that shimmy range. So you can choose really even how far you want to keep your opponent. Ideally, far away, far away, far away. And like every other Mortal Kombat character that's ever existed in the universe, the goal is to eventually get them with their back to the wall where they can't back up, but you can play this game. They jump, you anti-air. I'll show you how great the anti-air is. I'm going to record Shao Kahn coming in with his jumping 4. Pretty solid. I'm not doing a good job of showing how solid it is. Okay, and you have in Thunder Wave, that's a pretty solid anti-air I just caught him with. Oh my god. Sorry, Shao has a very great jumping 4, which is why I use it as an example. But you see here, if you do get it, I'm doing it too early. Oh my god, I'm really not doing a good job. Trust me, the move is better than I'm making it look. That's pretty strong damage for an anti-air. Anything over like 20 damage for an anti-air is ideally great. Of course, you're down 2. Works good as well because of how far in front of his face he sticks his palm out. And right at the tip of it, let's see, this I don't go for often, but it is possible. If you can hit, if you can, not a crush, it is possible, easier if they're in the corner, to down 2 if you hit him at the top of the range and get a down 1. Let me just take the AI off of this. I'm just trying to show you that you can do. Oh, I didn't even take him off of it. Professional, Kevin. You're the best. you can confirm off of down one. So you can down two an opponent, and if you see you caught him at max range and you're familiar with when you can down one them out of that, you can confirm into this, go for stuff. Okay? That's what I was trying to say. I should have made shall do his jumping 2, because now the tutorial is going to look fake, but I'm not the kind of YouTuber that likes to lie to you people, okay? It's a great standing anti-air. Don't get hit with the wrong move, don't time it wrong, but that's kind of true for all anti-airs. Your zoning is a good tool, but you're going to get beat out by other zoners. That's going to be your big time to teleport. But you want to be careful though, because teleport, you'll see, has 19 frames of recovery, which means you can get punished for this. I have a clip on Twitter from forever ago. I might dig it up later, I might not, I don't know. Of a Raiden doing this while I was playing Jackie, and I did 3-3. If you're in a Raiden mirror and he goes for this, this would be when you do your crushing blow counter. This is also, if you don't have the crushing blow, a great hit confirm. So, there's tools in here, but you have to manage your range. That's everything. You pressure, you stagger. You pressure, you stagger. Sometimes you don't. But your best case, your best possible situation is to manage range against other characters, have them overextend like we showed with Xiao's forward 2, step in and start getting damage, and really work on your execution. It is important that you master Raiden's execution because it is so inherently difficult to do his optimized combos. His crushing blows are decent, they're pretty achievable. I could name characters in the game that have worse crushing blows. Primarily Johnny, you know, has some pretty abysmal ones if he's not in Showstopper. But those are your tools. That's all you're really trying to do. Raiden's hard to make a whole comprehensive video on because his tools are fairly limited. I'll check and make sure there's not a move I forgot about. I don't think I did. Yeah, you can do electric fly in the air. You have your teleports. You can do your teleports at different ranges. That cost defensive meter if you do. I wouldn't recommend doing it all the time unless you really need to get out of somewhere that's strong. Oh my god. And you see, not easy to perform because of the way the game is. So you can try to go for stuff like that. It's not the best. Ideally, you'd rather teleport closer to your opponent anyway. And get in and continue to pressure. There's a lot of room for creativity with this variation, but you have to practice with it, and you really just, again, I'm going to keep repeating it because I want to get it into the head of Raiden players. Work your range. Work your range. Not with this button. I just like how that button looks. With this. And a little side tip, if it helps you, pick a staff like this that has a giant, big ball of, like, look how far the staff goes to help you realize your range. Because if you pick the other staff, you'll just have to notice. But this one has a clear indicator with the big, glowy nutsack at the end of it to show you exactly how far it goes. So that's great. You can get decent damage off of your stuff. Let me see. I'll show you an example. If I give him Fatal Blow, how much damage you can cash out on in certain situations. Let's see, like you land something like this. Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. You can do this into something like this. Oh, okay. I know what to do. I remember now what the combo was. Standing 4, into this, into this, into this, into Fatal. You can cash out pretty hard with Raiden. I did actually remember something else too I'm going to show now. I'm going to let this damage finish. I'm going to give you one more tool and I'm going to let you guys go ahead and practice your boy. It's almost 60% we just hit him with. Of course, you're cashing out a lot there, and having Crushing Blow and Fatal seems like it wouldn't happen. You'd be surprised how often I've hit that. You can also side switch. Sorry, I haven't played Raiden in a minute. You can do stuff like this and get on the other side of your opponent and side switch. It's a good get out of the corner tool. Of course, your teleport is always a get out of the corner tool. Just to be annoying. But this gives you a completely safe way to do it and confirm. Now, of course, you could also just go for more damage, or you could side switch, hit this. Now he's in the corner. So you can guarantee corner push off of anything as long as you can hit confirm into Superman. Just keep in mind how unsafe it is and that you can keep it safe there. This is another good get off me tool. So guys, take that information, work it out. If you have questions for me, because Raiden is kind of hard to explain with his minimal tool set, because it really is, He is very kind of like a tunnel vision character in Thunder Wave. You're really just trying to confirm into Thunder Wave. Oh, also, before I go, I'm going to keep remembering this stuff too. Thunder Wave is punishable. Don't be one of these guys who doesn't know this. Let's go to your... What am I looking for? I'm looking for a block. Block and duck. Watch this. No, block and... Did I not save it? Here we go. Block and duck. Look at this. He's safe. He is safe. Few Thunder Wave. Hot, mid, high. That's the punish. If a player doesn't know that, this is the best move in the game. If they block the whole thing, if you play somebody online and they block the entirety of that, great. If they start doing this, start hit confirming, because this is full combo punish. Okay, with all of that information, get accustomed to Raiden. If you have, I play him a lot, so I won't have everything in mind right now. If you have questions for me, that's what I love the comment sections for. If you guys check any of my other videos, I'm at the size right now. I can respond to every single comment you have. Ask me a question. If I don't know, I will run to the computer, lab it out, send you an answer back. Or complain me on stream and we'll lab it on stream. Link, of course, is in the description down below. Guys, get into Raiden. I'll have some more Raiden tutorials for some of his other variations later. I have to just do a little bit more research before I pull them out. Have some fun with Mortal Kombat. Aftermath is coming out in about 5 days. So let's get into it. I'd like to see some more character diversity. And who knows, maybe they'll patch Raiden and he'll be the best character in the game for once. Because the way the lore is in this game, both of these characters should be. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any questions. Come check me out on the stream if you have time. And I'll talk to you guys very soon. See you.